Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of the Huddle. We're here today to talk about esports, and we're with Alex Kozachenko, CPO of DATA.BET. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to delving into this topic. We've had a few huddles on esports in the past, and it's always interesting. It's the kind of a blend of modern and a young pastime with the traditions of betting. So plenty for us to talk about. A great start would be if you can kind of tell us about your background and your journey to where you are today.
I was born in Ukraine. I did get to travel quite a lot with my parents when being a kid. Finished high school in Ukraine, got my bachelor in the Netherlands, did my master's in Portugal. Business-wise, I did try a few different niches in my life. I tried working in marketing. I tried doing project management, product management, which is basically where I've ended up. In terms of markets, if we name it that way, it's a complete mess. I've been working in the restaurant business, but in education, I did work in the dating sphere. Ended up being working in gambling, specifically in sports betting. Been in with DATA.BET for over 2 years now in the position of a CPO. It's been one hell of an amazing ride, to be honest. Looking at the company 2 years ago to what it is now, which is a fully functional company with almost 250 people that's grasping the attention of the industry, and understanding that we are literally just getting started and there's so much more to come. I'm impressed with the way it's going, and I see that there is a lot to come.
Mm-hmm. A few different industries you mentioned there. Is gambling the most fun?
Let's put it this way. I think that gambling among these ones is one of the ones that's the best developed so far, if you could put it that way, right? Because if you speak of gambling, specifically sports betting, that sort of started with horse racing many years ago. There is a rich history of the way it's been going. It's a very wide industry, and to me personally, it's one of the industries that constantly keeps you motivated to learn, to talk to people, to try to innovate, and basically push yourself to the limit of your capabilities.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned a couple of years in the CPO role. In that role, what are your day-to-day duties, and what are the most common issues that you face?
Well, being a CPO, again, I can speak only, from my own experience, but being a CPO requires a lot of strategizing, a lot of communication. Obviously, not as much communication as when you work in sales, but still quite a bit. Currently, our team is a little under 20 people if we're talking of the product team, which consists of 4 sub-teams. And it's important to be aware, first of all, that everyone is there and has everything that they require to achieve their goals, whatever it's device-wise, health-wise, vacation, everything. Continuous product development and feature delivery is one of our top priorities, and obviously it requires constant reevaluation of the existing solution, of the user interaction, so that we are able to make sure that the new feature, they serve as an enhancement, but not as a setback. Basically what we're speaking of is a 24/7 alignment with the company's general strategy. Are we doing the correct thing? Is it suitable to help us achieve our goal? Do users like the feature? Can we make it better? And all these questions, they formulate the core of the product management team's operations on a daily basis. On top of that, obviously, it's the stakeholders. There's the head of trading, there's the head of sales, head of account management, head of marketing, the CEO, and having direct sync with these people is, I would say, crucial to understand their needs and concerns, as at the end of the day, they're the ones who deliver and sell the product to the market. And while being a CPO, I think one of the biggest challenges is being capable to get this strategy aligned with everyone. It has to be a strategy that helps the company operate, to prosper, to grow, to deliver the best product that there is on the market, and obviously to make it in such a way that people are capable of selling it, and offering it to the world. At the same time, it's very important to make sure that the resources that you have, they're allocated correctly, and that you're not requiring your CTO to increase the team twice just for the sake of creating another feature. So it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. It's a lot of fun, and especially when you can see the company grow and constantly evolve and become better at what you do, it's just amazing. I'm personally not sure there's something else that a CPO would want.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for that really, really interesting breakdown, kind of role specific. If we were to talk about the wider esports betting industry, what's the current situation in 2024? Because there's a lot of excitement about Latin America. In general, esports betting has been growing, but obviously the pandemic saw a huge amount of growth, and it might have leveled out a little bit since then. Where are we kind of at in terms of the growth phase right now?
Latin America is definitely the spot to look for. We've been to Brazil, to São Paulo a few weeks back to the expo, and it was my first time there. I've never been to Brazil. I've never been to São Paulo. And what was interesting is that I've always heard, and we've seen, from the data that we have inside of our system, that Latin Americans, specifically Brazil, is the region that has huge interest in esports and that has huge potential. And this is pretty much something that we have proven when we were at the expo. We got to talk to companies, present there, like Bet7 at Postagani and the other guys, Bet, obviously, to Felipe. And the perspective that I've seen is that there is huge potential in the Latin American market, specifically in Brazil, that is underutilized because basically what you have in terms of the product offering is far from being complete and far from being as complex as it could be. So obviously, there is a lot to come from there. If we speak of esports globally, if you could put it that way, worldwide, I mean, CS2 is the grand update of the Counter-Strike game that we all know, that started in many years ago, even before the 2000s, being the number one esports currently in the world. Well, I would say one of, yeah, in the world. It's been launched last year as the Counter-Strike 2 that's on the new engine. And we see that the amount of influence that game had is just insane, right? The teams, they switched completely their rosters, and people who would be the number one players, they're being benched. So it's a very different thing. And obviously you see a lot of development there. On the other hand, you have Valve, who are the game creators and the IP holders. They have announced new regulations allowing more teams to enter the pro tournaments. So again, definitely a lot more to come. PGL, one of the biggest sports tournament organizers, they have recently announced their expansion of tournaments set to 25, 26. And obviously I don't know, but I would probably call it out of nowhere the core of esports tournaments this year, the Esports World Cup, that's going to be held in Saudi, is just massive. 19 games over, what was it? I think it's around almost 2 months, 1.5 months. Prize pool of 60 million. I mean, to me, all those indicators, they just show that esports is locked in, it's healthy, and we are literally on the verge of just seeing the growth. There's a lot more to come. And obviously, as betting is part of the esports ecosystem, we're definitely about to expect growth in the betting sector. I mean, more sports are rolled out, the professional competition level, there's more participants, which leads to more content. It allows to grasp interests of new audiences. So I believe that esports betting has a very big future ahead.
Mm-hmm. I think that's an interesting segue into another topic that I know you'd be keen to talk about, when esports betting trading. So you've mentioned the growth of the sport, of the different sports, how many events there are, and the many different factors. When trading that many events, growing every year, how advanced is that area in esports betting right now? Because obviously in traditional sports betting, there's been a lot of work on maybe some automation here and there, a more dynamic trading over the years. What's the state of trading in esports betting?
Well, obviously, I can speak only of DATA.BET, having the depth of the knowledge of what we do, but we have a saying that it's called the stick of two ends. On the one hand, I generally believe that esports trading is quite far from perfection in terms of trading. On the other hand, my personal belief is that trading-wise, it's more progressive and it's more developed than classic sports. What we're talking of is for example, if we're talking the biggest distinction between esports trading and classic sports trading is the availability of real-time granular data. If you think about it, if you look at the way historically people would trade, for example, classic sports, or even the way they often do it now, is you would have a person who's called a scout who's going to be sitting at the event, and he's going to be clicking the buttons of what's going on, and this data gets transferred to I don't know, to a data provider, to a betting company, whatever. In esports, it's a bit different, and the biggest difference is that what you see in reality in front of you is actually the binary code, the ones and zeros that you have rolling around the server. And this granular data, it's already there. The only thing you need to do is you just grab it, hold it, and do your product and deliver based on this data. So first of all, because there is no proxy between the actual event and the operator, let's put it that way, there's the data flow. First of all, the data flow, it's faster. There's way more data points that allows you to build more and much deeper products. Again, if you compare it to classic sports, it also allows for a variety of automation to be introduced. But again, we're still quite far away because I believe that trading without traders, how goodly automatized you are now, is pretty much impossible. Now, traders, they are the guys who understand the situation that you have right now. They see that, I don't know, Kadian, Simple, or someone else who's playing the game, they start having sweaty hands. They might be able to predict, is he sick? Is he not feeling well during the game? Or is he nervous because of some reason? And that allows the traders to have a bit of a sort of a different view, that you don't currently have in the data. And this is just one of the minor things that you can see, that I can have from the top of my head. And I think these points will definitely be covered in the future. But esports, in terms of trading, is very well developed, but still far from perfection again.
Yeah. Thanks for a good overall summary and really interesting examples there of the human touch when it comes to trading. Because obviously, in just right now, everyone's talking about AI, and even me interviewing now, we could have an AI doing it really, and that's where we're at in today's age. But it wouldn't, hopefully, it wouldn't quite be as good as a human doing it. And those are interesting examples that you said, that even though esports is such it's actually, it's played on computers, it's played on machines, that there's still things that, a computer or a binary system might not spot. On that note, and you've already talked about the importance of the trading team, how can this kind of help your clients' profitability?
We're talking about the trading team. So now, again, as we mentioned, professional traders are capable of understanding and predicting situations before they tend to appear and happen. And sometimes even the data isn't as precise. And in our case, we have these traders. I think we're sort of past the head count of 150 traders by now. Traders, they're the guys who understand the tendencies. They understand the mood swings of the market. They understand the sports they trade, the industry. They see in-game teams' mood and performance. They basically allow to earn more than if you just use pure AI. They work with the market, with the gamblers, with the statistics to provide the best possible result there is. And of course, this allows to provide a top niche product for our partners. It's safe, it's controlled, it helps capitalize on investments made by partners. So in the end, the profitability is the key to every business, right? If we're not speaking of non-profit organizations. And obviously traders, good traders, are there to make sure that the profitability is as high as it can be.
Mm-hmm. Now you touched. We both touched on AI, and you touched on data, which these are my next two topics. So should be pretty interesting. Obviously, you mentioned certain things that pure AI can't achieve without kind of human assistance or perhaps intervention. But how important is AI, and how much of AI is within the trading process at the moment, and might that change, significantly over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, AI models basically allow for multiple usage options. First of all, the quantity and the quality of offered markets, the risk correction or optimization of trading processes, predictive modeling, fraud detection, personalized recommendations, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot to talk about. AI has become an indispensable tool in the betting industry for both providers and consumers. And the further technology develops, I think the more we are to expect. Who would have thought in 2001, when the first CS major has been held, that AI models will be able to create personalized betting lines for gamblers based on their preferences, or that AI models would be capable of pattern matching and predicting gambler behavior and thus help operators to predict potential fraud, or on the contrary, help their VAP gamblers to earn more together with the operator. So there has been a lot of development over the past 15, 20 years. And obviously, there's way, way, way more to come.
Mm-hmm. No, I think no one can really disagree with that. Data, you mentioned it is very important earlier, and actually it was a key point about the kind of the availability of automatic data in esports. It's there, you know what it is, as opposed to, for example, when you were talking, I thought of someone in football, someone tackles someone else. Was it a tackle? Was it an interception? Was it a foul? It's subjective. But obviously in esports, some people we've talked to in the past have talked about data scraping, and a bit of an issue in esports is the kind of unofficial data sources. How do you deal with data at DATA.BET? And how do you kind of overcome these kind of potential hurdles?
Well, in DATA.BET, we believe that licensed data is one of the core features that allow us to build the product that we have. Obviously, not being as cheap as scrape data, but this type of data provides much more benefits. And if the company understands how to utilize those benefits, the product can be just unbelievable. The depth of the data that we have and that we get directly from the servers, it allows us to build new markets, new widgets. Then obviously, as part of this, you have the license stream that allows to provide gamblers with a faster understanding of in-game reality than, for example, Twitch or Kick, where you have delays. Having all these factors combined, it's pretty much possible to deliver gamblers the product that maximizes their interest. As a consequence, it increases the retention of gamblers. It leads to increased profits. So it's sort of a loop. With the whole licensed data being able to produce a product to retain customers and make more money. So in a way, you could put that the more you spend, the more you earn. Mm-hmm. But then again, it depends. We can see examples of companies currently in the world that don't see the need for this granular data. They use scrape data and they're completely fine with that, which is obviously also an option. The data is there in the world, it's available to public, so why not use it? I guess it just really depends on the positioning of the company and the way they see their product and the way they see their own development for the future. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I'm not sure I'm wrong in saying, but it might be because of the relative youth of esports betting, and perhaps one day, regulation, as more regulation comes in, there might be maybe more of a black or white on this, but that's just me speculating at this stage.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, certainly. A couple of final questions from me, and I wanted to ask you specifically about DATA.BET and your chance to kind of elevator pitch time, if you will. If you could tell us about kind of your specific offerings and what kind of helps you stand out when working with partners and operators.
Well, first of all, we are partners with both Grid and Base, who are currently holding the majority of all the licensed esports data content supplied to the market. So we have pretty much everything that they have, and we are able to cover the majority of the events that we have. And we're inclined to keep it that way. We offer our partners also widgets, video streaming service, our SPA, which is a single page application. Some refer to it as the iframe solution, but technically SPA is a bit more advanced. We offer risk management. So basically what DATA.BET offers to partners is a seamless betting solution, right? So you integrate it and it works. You don't really need to do anything else. It's literally there. As an operator, you just, well, pretty much what you want to worry about is how to make your product, I guess, more visible, because everything else is taken care of by us. So we also take care of, like, the development, increasing the line in terms of sports and markets, adding new feature. And that's what DATA.BET is here for. We're here to offer the product that allows the operators to earn without having to worry about, their offering and the quality of the product, because that's what we worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're speaking here sort of roughly exactly halfway through 2024, maybe a little bit before. But if we're to talk about the rest of the year and the coming months, my final question to you is, what kind of goals have you got at DATA.BET, and is there anything new in the pipeline?
Well, I mean, our general goal, and the biggest one, I guess, is to take over the whole world. But
no pressure.
Seriously, no. But seriously speaking, except for the financial goals, we are to deliver a whole new product by the end of 2024. So that's new widgets, new sports, new markets. And DATA.BET, our goal is to continuously deliver new features that are intended to make our partners' profits grow. And that's what we've been doing for the past years. And that's what we're going to be doing in the future, because that's the way we see it work for us.
It sounds simple, but it's never easy, of course. And I'm sure it'll be a busy few months for you guys.
Yep. Always busy, but it's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Alex, really want to thank you for your time. Really enjoyed speaking to you about esports and DATA.BET and various topics. I'm sure we'll speak again soon. And until we do, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure, and we definitely will speak soon.
Absolutely. And to our viewers, thanks for watching as well.